Continuing with big tech companies. So we've been discussing major tech companies like Amazon, Google, Facebook, or even Amazon, uh, Google and Apple are big tech companies that they're being perceived as anti-competitive because they are trying to eat up as much of the market as possible to be a monopoly in their industry, so to speak. And what's interesting here, a company here, a Nvidia, who's known for making GPUs or graphic cards, is buying a company that provides chips for many of these competitive companies. So Nvidia is trying to buy ARM, and when it was reported, guess what? Many of the companies that uses ARM technologies, such as Qualcomm, Google, as well as Microsoft, are not too happy about it. And obviously, they should be concerned because if Nvidia were allowed to purchase ARM, the company itself, there may be repercussions because ARM technology is embedded in many of our technologies right now. So if it's not using AMD chips or even Intel, it's more likely using ARM technologies here or chipset here, especially for Qualcomm. So all of your mobile phones, whether it's Samsung or Apple, they're using Qualcomm chips. So that's how you know ARM is the one providing the architecture. But what's interesting for ARM as a company, they are willing to license their proprietary technologies to other companies to develop, which in turn provides them a feedback loop, as mentioned here, to provide better product and innovate at the same time, so to give them a competitive advantage. And what's interesting, ARM is not just in providing uh, microchip here or chips for different companies. They also provide a wide variety of services to other companies here. So as mentioned, the companies that are not for buying ARM here is Apple's mentioned, Samsung, Intel, AMD, Amazon, and MediaTek, and Huawei. So there are a lot of companies here. So let's see here. There you go. So as mentioned, so one of the most adamant here that the acquisition has to be blocked is Qualcomm. Now, it believes that it could lead to Nvidia gatekeeping or limiting the growth or the access to ARM's intellectual property here. And one of the key attributes that ARM is providing all these past few years is they are called the enabler of competition, meaning their business model is unique to other companies where they are allowed to provide their products through licensing fees, as mentioned, whether big or small, to create a feedback loop that leads to a continuous improvement of its chip design and a healthy ecosystem, both for standard and custom processors for a variety of applications here. Now, obviously, what Nvidia is saying right now is it plans to open the licensing model or continue what it's been doing. But obviously, the concern here, Nvidia has its own agenda because if you were to look at its architecture here, so let's take a closer look here. What was it? Yeah, let's see here. You can see here. Yeah, there you go. Let's take a closer look here. So you can clearly see here. So Nvidia on the right side here is providing different aspects. So in terms of gaming, healthcare, transportation, robotics, and so forth, right? So they're involved in the architecture design, system design, and data center. Okay, obviously they want to expand their reach, and buying ARM would help their cost there. But if you look at ARM here at the left side, so they provide CPU ecosystems to different aspects, different categories here. From client side, so you can see Qualcomm, Samsung, you have EA here, many big companies, and even Microsoft is one of their key clients here. So guess what if Nvidia has control of ARM? So they will be able to technically control how the products is being delivered to their key customers. And they're not only focused on those key clients, but they also focus on infrastructure. So you can see here, Amazon's Web Services is one of their key products here. Then you also have IoT, Internet of Things. So you can see here, Dolby is using their technology. Then you have automotive here as well. So ARM's reach is very wide and vast here. So letting a company, like Nvidia here, I would say take advantage, but buy it up outright could have repercussions in the market or in the industry in the future. So the government has to take a closer look here whether they should allow this venture or partnership or for Nvidia to be able to buy the company here. But it's an ongoing process, so we still have to wait and see here. Now, obviously, according to Nvidia, they're insisting that they would only help grow the business. And obviously, arm's reach is growing, as mentioned here. And obviously, for the companies like I mentioned, for Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and even AMD are currently developing their own silicon-based, which is based on ARM design. So if Nvidia were to suddenly acquire ARM, there can be a repercussion in terms of pricing, the direction of they'll be limited in terms of using maybe Intel chips, which is years behind, is behind now, or even AMD processors here. So it's important especially for startups. It's very important that they have free access to the ARMS chips portfolio so that it can continue provide hardware innovations here. So what happens next? We'll have to wait and see.